Today I'm going to be talking about the difference between trauma and psychic abilities for very sensitive empaths when you're starting your healing journey. This topic is very important to me. Part of my divine mission is to teach energy protection, and this is a very important topic. First, let's start by defining trauma. So trauma could be escaping a narcissistic relationship, having PTSD, just coming from an emotionally, physically abusive situation, anything that's dysregulated our nervous system and sparked an awakening or just created this tower moment for us to start healing. So this is very common. Eckhart Tolle talks about it, and this can be a very catalytic moment for any empaths, for any highly sensitive individuals, because we are so sensitive to energy. To go through such a negative event like that, it creates a lot of confusion, and in those times our minds might be a little confused because our reality was distorted. We've been questioning ourselves. We've been questioning what's true and what's not, what's been abuse, what's been controlling, manipulative. And then we start to experience these other almost abnormal coincidences and synchronicities going on around us. So the first thing I want to point out is protection. You can purchase a copy of my book, How to Clear Your Energy, but let's go through a couple points in that. The biggest thing I'd like to push is to empower yourselves. Learn what it's like to feel safe. And a lot of these traumatic events are going to have a deeper stemming root than what we think. Like, we might think right now that we're coming out of a narcissistic relationship or we are surviving PTSD, but really that event was manifested because of something that happened in childhood and what we normalized others to treat us as. And as we get deeper into this journey, maybe months from now, maybe weeks from now, maybe years from now, we'll start to see the truth of where these patterns came from. But first want to be working on is protecting and cleansing and clearing your energetic space so that you can feel safe while you start working on this, and so that your mind can give you a safe kind of plateau or baseline for you to regulate and come back to feel safe, to work on this, to feel safe when you start working with other practitioners and when you work with therapists, somatic healers, or theta healers, whatever your journey is meant to be. First, you want to have that safe baseline within yourself, teaching your body, teaching your mind, your physical self, your spiritual self, your higher self, what it is to feel safe. And so, again, my book is entirely this. I wrote it because I wish I knew this 5 years ago when I was starting my journey, and I want to give those tools away. Some of those techniques include saging a space. They include practicing mindfulness and learning to incorporate all the tools you need along the way. Maybe right now pause the video and just write down or think about a few things. Is it lighting candles? Is it burning incense? What creates a safe space around you where you feel like you can fully relax and know that you are just in your own energy? Maybe it's a cord cutting practice. Maybe it's meditating for 15 minutes. And we'll get deeper into meditation in another video and what that all means, but just think about what it takes for you to feel safe. Maybe it's physically cleaning your space, your room, your apartment, wherever you're living in. Maybe it's knowing nobody will be home for a few hours so that you can just relax and be. Just take a minute to write that down and concentrate on what it feels like to be safe and what you would need. Okay, next. Once you do find a list of practices, and I recommend finding practices that engage and incorporate your body on all four physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels, what you need to feel safe on all four realms, then, and this may take a few weeks or a few months to really get into a consistent practice of it, I would recommend daily, even just 15 minutes a day, creating this space and feeling it. Ideally 3 hours a day, especially if you're just coming out of a traumatic situation. But practice that for a while until your body starts to feel safe within yourself and you've discovered or created what this baseline will feel like. Then I would highly recommend getting help. We are communal beings. We were built to work with each other. We are made to rely on one another and to have support. Actually, Western society is the farthest from what I've seen from utilizing and practicing the extreme benefits that come from working as a community. I would recommend, again, being discerning, but learn to reach out to teachers that you feel called to, theta healers, plant medicine teachers, yogis, therapists, whoever you feel you need to speak with. For example, along my journey, one of the teachers I needed to find was a psychic therapist, because everybody I'd spoken to, and I had so many amazing teachers, but this one relationship that I was working so hard to heal from, I couldn't make sense of the trauma and why it had to be and happen that way until I found an incredible teacher who taught me about a past life that I had shared with this person and helped me get to the root of it that way. Sorry, just a couple little interruptions. So as we continue this journey, synchronicities are bound to take place, because this will be an awakening for most, shattering our hearts wide open to reconnect us with Source, to reconnect us with our true core innermost selves, is in a lot of cases why these traumas occur. Around this time, you might be noticing angel numbers or animals always crossing your paths, or very vivid dreams, reoccurring dreams, things that cannot be explained. I remember one time having a dream that a lamp turned on, and I woke up and the lamp next to me turned on. And I was like, what? So I messaged one of my teachers, and she's like, that was you. I was like, what do you mean that was me? I was just supercharged energetically at that time. You might notice lights turning on or lights flickering when you go into rooms, those kinds of things. The biggest thing is, don't be scared. And if you are scared, ask them to just wait until you're ready. That's also what I did when I was seeing things. I just said, I'm not ready for this, because I knew I was in a state of fear at that time, and that if I was going to pursue that path then, it would attract more elements from that vibration of fear. And I wasn't ready for it yet. So I would say hold the horses on getting excited to tap into psychic abilities until you have a calm understanding. And that might look like being aware of these synchronicities, maybe writing them down as they happen. Find someone you can talk to where it's a safe, non-judgmental zone, and get to a point where you can observe them and kind of laugh at it and be like, wow, that's really neat, or cool, oh, I see you, and like, you know, where it's fun and comforting for them to be around, because it can be a little, you know, questionable, or not knowing how to handle it from the beginning, and that's okay. The biggest part is not to come from a point of judgment, and to be okay with it, and then invite it in. clearing our energy. And you can do this with a teacher, you can do it on your own. A really big element to this is recognizing where trauma is stored in the body. And this might not resonate with everyone, but the base of our spine is where the root of our trauma is. It's our root chakra. It's our sense of stability, of safety, of home, of grounding, of support. And if you didn't have that as a child in childhood, it is going to be the longest one to develop. It is going to need the most practice. That teaching your body what safety feels like is going to be exponentially important, because for that chakra to heal, we need to teach our bodies what it's like to be safe, and then teach our inner child how to feel safe and really embody that. So that'll be the biggest one to start with, and it might take months. I know for me it probably took a year, and I don't say that to discourage anyone. It's just, this is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's beautiful at each stage. Like, man, each one has so many blessings and so many lessons and so much growth. It's really transformative. And then above the root chakra is the sacral. And that one's super exciting because that's the home of creativity and sexuality, but so much like painting and music and playing and creating. Maybe you start creating your purpose, what you're meant to do from this healing. And that creativity is such a big part of this journey as well, and so uniquely your own. Like, that will only come from within you. Like, that one is probably least inspired by our surrounding environment. Of course, there'll be different elements, and each person is different. But then above that, we have the solar plexus, heart, throat, then third eye. And the third eye is where our intuition and where these psychic elements might be coming through, and right above that is the crown. So the third eye is second from the top, and all of them, it's important to give all of them an equal amount of attention. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I was taught years ago, many people became so interested in having a third eye, having their third eye open, but the one negative downfall that can come from it, by focusing on our third eye without clearing the trauma, is a psychotic break. And I'm not saying that to scare anyone. If you're giving all your chakras equal attention, you're fine. To give your root chakra even more attention, even better. But I'm just saying that to make sure you're balanced, because putting too much energy here at the beginning is not good either. Okay, so again, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be moments where we feel so connected, and it's so cool, and you can almost predict who's phoning you, and all these like things are happening, and it's really fun. Then there's going to be moments where, it's a ride, and it's a process, and it's a journey, and that's one of the most important things to remember. Alongside, you don't have to go through this alone. It's very important to have people you can talk to, who can relate, who can understand, who don't think you're crazy, who are non-judgmental, and hold space for you to grow. So if it is someone that you're paying for sessions, that's the energy exchange. You know, you're giving money, they're holding that space for your healing, okay? That way only. You're not holding space for them, because this is why I'm big on empowering and learning that safety within first, because if you're like me and you have a lot of healing energy, you might have experienced therapists in the past that you almost felt like you were holding space for them in a session. So that's one form of energy exchange. Or maybe you find a really good friend that you can discuss this with, but then it's equal, it's give and take, it's reciprocal. You're both, providing a balance for the energy given and taken. And these synchronicities will continue to grow with you. You'll learn to tap into them. The biggest part with discerning and accessing those spiritual or psychic gifts is approaching them from the heart. So, coming from a loving space will always be the best approach. And being open to receiving when you're ready. But having an open heart is the biggest gift. And also one of the biggest forms of protection. So that's all I have for us in this video today. Feel free to let me know what you think. I'll leave links in the description box below if you'd like to book a private session or join a group class, or if you'd like to purchase a copy of my book. But thank you all for listening, and God bless.